Something happens to a woman when she crosses 40 that nobody wants to admit out loud. Not her friends. Not society. Not even she herself. One day she's making dinner, organizing school schedules, reminding everyone to wear jackets because it's cold outside. And the next day she's staring at herself in the mirror like a stranger. A switch flips. A crisis begins. And a man wakes up next to someone he suddenly doesn't recognize. You think this is rare? Brother, it's an epidemic. It's happening in every city, every neighborhood, every marriage that seemed perfect. Women hitting 40 and detonating everything around them. Their families, their marriages, their identities, just to feel something again. And here's the twist nobody sees coming. It has nothing to do with you. Not your mistakes. Not your behavior. Not the relationship. It's a biological, psychological meltdown. A collision of fading youth, collapsing identity, and a desperate hunger they've been hiding for years. Men think they know their wives. You think because you shared a home, raised kids, fought battles together, she somehow becomes immune to the laws of female psychology. You're wrong. You're dangerously wrong. A woman's entire self-worth is built on one thing society never stops reminding her of. Her desirability. Her beauty. Her sexual power. Her ability to turn heads. For 20 years straight, from 18 to 38, she's fed a constant stream of validation. Men staring, flirting, complimenting, chasing, worshipping. Then suddenly the attention slows. The compliments fade. Her reflection changes. And the panic begins, slowly, quietly eating her from the inside like acid. She doesn't tell you. She doesn't tell anyone. She just feels something dying, the version of herself she built her whole identity on. You want to know what happens next? She starts craving validation the way an addict craves a fix. Your love doesn't help. Your reassurance doesn't help. Your loyalty doesn't help. Because you're familiar. You're predictable. You're the man who is supposed to find her beautiful. She needs proof from the outside world. Proof she's still wanted. Proof she's still valuable. Proof she's not fading into the background of her own life. And that's when the real danger begins. She starts comparing everything, her youth to her present, her body to her past, her marriage to fantasies she sees online. She starts romanticizing who she used to be. The younger version. The version men chased. The version she thinks she lost forever. And you become the symbol of the life she thinks stole her youth. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence reminds her of time. Time past. Time wasted. Time she can't get back. So she starts reaching for anything that makes her feel alive again. A compliment from a stranger. A message from an old friend. A smile from a coworker. The fantasy she knows is dangerous, but irresistible. And the more she feels this awakening, the more she resents the stability she once valued. Your loyalty starts looking like boredom. Your predictability feels like a cage. Your love feels too safe, too normal, too routine. Because she doesn't want safety anymore. She wants electricity. She wants danger. She wants to feel 25 again, even if it destroys everything she's built. This is the truth nobody warns men about. A woman doesn't go crazy at 40 because she's evil. She goes crazy because she's terrified. Terrified of aging. Terrified of being invisible. Terrified of realizing the world no longer treats her like the main character. And in that terror, she becomes capable of things she never would have even imagined at 30. Not because she stopped loving her family, but because she stopped loving herself. And when a woman no longer loves herself, she will burn down the entire world just to feel a spark again. Here's where everything gets truly dark. Because the shift inside a woman over 40 doesn't happen gently. It happens like a silent earthquake. A crack beneath the surface that widens every day until the whole structure collapses. And most men don't notice it until it's already too late. You think she's distant because she's tired. You think she's irritated because of work. You think she's cold because of stress. But what you're actually seeing is a woman grieving her own fading identity. For the first time in her life, she feels something she never felt before. Irrelevance. Every year before 40, the world rewards her for existing. Men open doors. Women compliment her. People notice her. Her beauty guarantees attention, and attention guarantees value. Now, strangers look past her. Young women outshine her. That sexual power she relied on for decades slips through her fingers like sand. And instead of accepting it, she fights it with everything she has. You notice the changes, subtle at first. The new clothes that don't match her age. The gym obsession. The sudden interest in makeup she never cared about. The way she angles her phone for photos as if she's auditioning for youth itself. But underneath all of that is something much darker. She's scanning for proof she's still wanted. Still chosen. Still noticed. And when she finally gets that proof, from a coworker, a trainer, an old friend on social media, that tiny spark of validation becomes a wildfire. Because now she knows the feeling she's been missing. Now she knows the chemical rush she hasn't felt in 10, 15, 20 years. Now she knows she can still make a man want her. And that knowledge destroys her. Because once she tastes it, once she feels seen again, your stable, reliable love suddenly becomes too familiar, too safe, too predictable. You become the symbol of everything she's trying to escape. Responsibility, aging, domestic reality. She looks at you and sees the years slipping away. She looks at him, whoever they, and sees the girl she used to be. And that fantasy is stronger than anything you can offer. This is where the shift becomes violent. Not physically, but emotionally. Her moods swing. Her patience evaporates. Her affection disappears. Her body is present, but her mind is somewhere else. She becomes hypercritical, irritated by everything you do. She rewrites history in her head. Suddenly your solid marriage becomes a cage. Your years of love become mistakes. Your sacrifices become invisible. Not because she believes these things, but because she needs to believe them. She needs you to be the problem so she can chase the feeling that's consuming her. So she paints herself as the victim, and you as the reason she lost herself. It's not logical. It's not fair. It's not real. But it's powerful enough to rip a family apart. You want to know the most brutal truth? She isn't destroying the marriage because she's unhappy with you. She's destroying it because she's unhappy with herself, and you're the mirror that reflects that truth. At 40, a woman doesn't just panic. She revolts. Against time. Against responsibility. Against the life she built. Against the version of herself she can't accept. And men get caught in the crossfire. Not because they failed, but because they were standing too close when the bomb went off. What happens next is even darker. This is the part men never recover from. The part nobody warns you about. The part where the woman you built a life with isn't your wife anymore. Just an empty shell wearing her face. Because once a woman over 40 crosses the emotional threshold, once she attaches her fantasies, her panic, her hunger for validation to another man, there's no coming back from it. Not for her. Not for your marriage. Not for your sanity. Here's how the destruction unfolds. Slowly at first, then all at once. She stops laughing at your jokes. She stops asking about your day. She stops noticing you're hurting. But she starts doing small, calculated things she never did before. Protecting her phone like it's a bomb. Taking extra long to run errands. Wearing perfume to places that don't require perfume. Smiling at messages she claims are just group chats. You don't want to accuse her. You don't want to be paranoid. You don't want to believe the woman who bore your children could betray you like this. But deep down, you know, because her eyes don't lie. And her energy doesn't lie. And her sudden happiness that has nothing to do with you definitely doesn't lie. This is the moment she starts creating distance. Not physically at first, but emotionally. The late night scrolling. The secretive texting. The constant irritability. The way she suddenly has plans without telling you. She's building a bridge to a new life, while burning the one she has. And here's the part that destroys men. She has to turn you into the villain to justify leaving. So she starts rewriting the entire history of your relationship. Suddenly you never supported her. Suddenly you never made her feel seen. Suddenly she's been unhappy for years. Suddenly you're controlling, emotionally distant, immature, selfish. You sit there shocked because these words aren't just false. They're the opposite of the truth. But she needs to believe them. Because if she admitted she was leaving a good man for a dopamine hit from someone new, she'd have to confront the monster inside her. And she's not strong enough for that. So she paints herself the hero. And you the oppressor. And the family? Collateral damage. You know what cuts the deepest? Your kids start noticing. They ask why mom is always angry. Why she never eats dinner with the family. Why she's always on her phone. Why she doesn't smile anymore. They feel the crack before it becomes a canyon. But she doesn't. She's too busy chasing a fantasy. Because here's the truth nobody admits. A woman over 40 in crisis doesn't chase a man, she chases a version of herself she can never be again. That 25-year-old version she sees in old photos. That girl who felt desired. That girl who felt invincible. That girl who had options. She isn't cheating on you with another man. She's cheating on you with her past. And the past always wins, until reality slaps her so hard she can't ignore it. But by then, the damage is irreversible. The marriage is gone. The trust is dead. The stability is shattered. The man is broken. And the family you built with decades of sacrifice is reduced to ashes. And when the fantasy collapses, because it always collapses, and she realizes the grass wasn't greener, and the attention wasn't love, and the new guy wasn't a soulmate but a distraction, she'll come back. Not physically maybe, but emotionally. She'll text you. She'll check in on you. She'll ask how the kids are. She'll send nostalgic messages like, "Do you remember our trip to the lake? I've been thinking about you lately." But she's not coming back for love. She's coming back for safety. For comfort. For the man she abandoned. The cruel irony? The moment she wants you again is exactly when you should never take her back. Because the woman you loved died the moment she chose validation over loyalty. What's left is someone else. Someone shaped by panic, ego, and fear. Someone who will do it again the moment mortality whispers in her ear. Someone you can't save. Because in the end, women over 40 don't destroy families because they're evil. They destroy them because they're terrified. Terrified of aging. Terrified of invisibility. Terrified of becoming ordinary. Terrified of being forgotten. Terrified of facing the mirror without a man's desire to prop up their identity. And in their terror, they burn the world down. Including you.